So in my previous video, I showed you how to download and use Flux control nets, and as a follow-up to that video, I'm gonna show you how to download and use the Flux IP adapters and LoRas. I recommend watching the other video before you watch this one, because the installation process is basically the same. But don't worry if you haven't watched that video, I'm just gonna show you a step-by-step guide on how to install and use the IP adapters and LoRas for the Flux model. So now I'm gonna show you how to download and use the Flux IP adapters. The first thing you have to do is open ComfyUI, go over here and click Manager. If you don't have the Manager installed, you can go ahead and watch my previous videos on how to install ComfyUI and the Manager. Then just click over here on Custom Nodes Manager. And over here, just search for Flux. And you have to download this custom node called Flux ComfyUI. Just click download over here. And after that, you should click update all and restart. Now, after you've done that, all you have to do is go to this website, and you can see over here that we need to download this clip-L model called model.savetensors. Click over here on this link, and this should bring us to this page. Just click on Files and Versions, and it's this model right over here, model.savetensors. Just click over here. Now go wherever you installed ComfyUI in your models folder, and over here you can see this clip_vision folder. If you don't have this folder, just create one and name it clip_vision. Open it and just save it over here. Now you can change this model name to whatever you want, clip vision whatever, and just click save. I already saved it, so I don't need to do that again. And after that, we need to download the IP adapters model. We do that by going right over here. We can see Files and Versions, and this is the model that we need, Flux IP adapters.savetensors. Just click download over here. Go into your ComfyUI installation folder in models section, and over here you should have this folder called XLabs. Now, if you don't see an XLabs folder over here, just go to the custom nodes folder, and over here you should see the Flux ComfyUI. Click over here and double click on this Python file called setup to run it and let it install a couple of files. So after you've downloaded the Flux IP adapter savetensors, you can now go back into ComfyUI, and as you can see, we don't have a workflow loaded already. But in order to load a workflow, we have already installed a couple of those in our XLabs folder. So go over here in custom nodes and XLabs ComfyUI, Xflux ComfyUI. And over here we can see a folder called workflows. And we have a bunch of workflows. You can see the 3 control net workflows from my previous video, but today we're gonna talk about the IP adapter workflow. So all you have to do is from ComfyUI, click on load, go back into your ComfyUI folder, custom nodes, and just click on the IP adapter workflow. And over here we can see this messy workflow. So the first thing you need to know about IP adapters, you need to choose an image that is a square image, so 1x1 or 1024 by 1024. You can also work with other resolutions, but it might affect the final image in a bad way, so I would recommend to use a square image for this. And as an example, let's say we're gonna use this image right over here. You can see an anime girl in a pretty peculiar style. Over here we have the prompt input. When it comes to IP adapters, you have the main image over here, which is going to give the most details about the final image that we want. And in the prompt box, all you need to do is just mention a couple of details, like wearing sunglasses. And just copy this prompt and paste it in the box below. Usually, from what I've heard, the prompt box below is the one for the information about the image that you want to generate, and the one above is more regarding styles and other details, but you should just paste the prompt in both of these boxes. Over here we can see the Flux IP adapter file that we just downloaded, and in this area called Clip Vision, just select the model safe tensors. I actually renamed it to clip_1, but you should select the file that you've just downloaded previously. Over here you can change this to GPU, or if you don't have a GPU, just leave it on CPU. Over here we have the Apply Flux IP adapter, and in this area called Strength Model, this is how much the IP adapter will have an effect on the final image. You should play with this to see what gives you the best results. Usually if you go over 1, let's say 1.25, this will give you a pretty blurry, pretty messed up result, so try to stay below 1. We're gonna put it back to 0.92 because for some reason this tends to give the best result. If you put it below this value, the final image will follow the input image a bit less, but that might work out for you. This is the negative prompt. I'm not gonna add one because I don't really need one right now, but just keep that in mind. And after you did all that, you can see over here in the XLabs sampler, this field is set to fixed. You should put this on randomize unless you want every single image to look exactly the same. And over here you can see that the amount of steps is pretty large. 50 steps will take quite a while to generate. You could play around with this, and let's say that 25. For me 25 steps works pretty well. As comparison, here is the difference between 25 steps and 50 steps. You can see that the images are pretty similar to each other. I can't really tell which one looks better, but I can definitely tell that for 50 steps it takes double the time to generate, so keep that in mind. And you should leave everything else the same. Over here we have the size. I'm gonna leave it like this and just click Q prompt. Now this will take quite a while to load, so be patient. And as you can see, here is the result. You can see that the final image is similar in style to the input image. We have a girl in anime style wearing a white cap, but this time she's wearing sunglasses, so it followed the prompt pretty well. Now just for comparison, we're gonna lower the strength to something like 0.6 and see how that works. And this is the result. The image looks quite a bit better than the previous one, and you can definitely notice that it follows the initial image a little less. You can see that the cap color has changed, but let's see how it handles something like 0.3. And here you can see that with such a low strength model value, the image really stops following the input image, and you know, the style looks completely different even though she's still wearing sunglasses. So let's check out a different picture. Let's see how it handles this picture. We're gonna leave everything else the same. I'm just gonna change this value back to something like 0.9 and just click Q prompt. And this is the result. You can see it added sunglasses to this picture even though they don't look necessarily exactly the same. For some reason her eyes look a bit weird, but you can play with these settings furthermore and, you know, optimize the final result. Now let's talk about LoRAs. Over here you can see this node called Load Flux LoRA. You can drag this down over here, and in order to apply a LoRA to this image, you have to drag this model from the load diffusion model over here in this model node, and do that again, dragging this over here in the Apply Flux IP adapter. Now, if you don't have any LoRAs downloaded, this will not display anything. So in order to download some LoRA models, you should go to Civit AI and search for Flux LoRA models. I really like this 1800 style LoRA, so I'm just gonna click download and go into your ComfyUI folder. In the models folder, and X Labs, and you have a folder dedicated for LoRas over here. Just save the LoRa model in there. Now, for some reason, when I click QPrompt, I keep getting this weird error, Flux LoRa loader list index out of range. I don't know, this might only happen to me, but if you also have this issue, all you have to do is delete this node and just add a node called LoRa loader model only. And if you downloaded LoRa models in the folder that I showed previously, all you have to do is go ahead and just copy this model and go ahead and paste it in the normal LoRa's folder. Now over here you can see all the LoRa models that you have downloaded. I'm gonna use the old-timey V4 LoRa because, you know, it's for Flux. Just connect this back to the apply Flux IP adapter. And in order to use the LoRa, you should go back to CVTI, and over here you can see this trigger words. Just click copy and paste them over here. And now we can play with this strength model value and see which one gives you the best results. I'm gonna leave it to 0.8 for now and just click QPrompt. And you can see now that the final image has a nice old photograph style. Now, if you want to use LoRa's standalone without the IP adapters, then all you have to do is go back into your ComfyUI folder, into custom nodes, back in the Xflux ComfyUI folder, and back in the workflows folder. And over here you can see we have a LoRa workflow, so just open this. And we have a simplified version of the previous workflow. And again, for me, I'm just gonna delete this load Flux LoRa, and I'm just gonna load the LoRa loader model only. Select the LoRa that you want to use. I'm gonna use the old-timey V4 again. And connect this over here in the X Labs sampler model section. So I'm just gonna come up with a prompt, and don't forget to copy the trigger word. And I'm just gonna change this from fixed to randomize. So let's click QPrompt and let's see what it can generate. And this is the result, looks pretty good. And for the next test, I'm gonna use this retro anime Flux style. So all we have to do is change this to the other LoRa. And over here, you can see that it recommends to use a strength of 1.1. So we're gonna do just that. I'm gonna leave everything else the same, and don't forget to remove these trigger words. Now for this specific LoRa model, it doesn't really mention any specific trigger words, so we're just gonna mention that we want it to be in anime style. This looks actually very nice. You might be able to fool some people with this. Here's a funny idea for you. Try to show this image to your grandparents to see how they react. I'm pretty sure their minds would be blown. This is the result. You can see that it has that nice old retro anime look to it. And if you want more LoRas, all you have to do is go on CVTI. Over here, just click and filter it by LoRas, and make sure to select Flux 1S and 1D. And you can browse through a bunch of different cool LoRas and just use whichever you prefer. So that was it. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any other recommendations for future videos, make sure to mention them in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, you might as well check out some of these videos.